Alright, hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to go over a couple of things that everybody's been emailing me and calling me about. Is intercoolers and radiators. So for my swap, I ended up using a 91.5 to 93 intercooler. As you can see, these little knurls are still on here that were originally from factory, and one reason why I didn't shave them off is because I didn't want to ruin the integrity of the intercooler itself, and I didn't have a aluminum welder at the time. And if you have a plastic grill, you can actually hide them a lot better. This is what came on my truck, and I didn't want to buy another one, so I just ended up cutting them out. Yeah, it kind of looks a little retarded, but it's kind of what I had to do at the time, and eventually I'm going to get a GMC grill for it. So we're going to talk about some other options. I've seen a few other people that are running Duramax intercoolers. Now for the Duramax intercoolers, they're going to be coming up more up here at the top rather than how you cut them out right here to go on right there on the actual side of the core support where that is. Now with a 93 radiator or 91.5 to 93 radiator, it fits so perfect. I don't understand why anybody else is using any other radiator. You can use these radiators for P-pump engines, 24 valve motors. They're all pretty much the same. The only difference is with the if you use an intercooled radiator, the water housing that's right here is different on a intercooled version than it is a non-intercooled version. And if you do a alternator swap also with the AC flip, you're gonna have to get the intercooled version not anyway. Now or the intercooled version water inlet and outlet anyway. Now a lot of people ask me, well, why didn't I just cut the frame? Well, that's kind of retarded. This AC flip and this alternator, the bracket and everything is actually it's actually a real Cummins part, and it's actually from an F700. Now the AC itself or the alternator itself isn't a Cummins part. It's actually from a guy at Tennessee Diesel Conversions that actually makes and swaps these alternators himself. Now that alternator is from him. The AC is a F700 AC. I haven't hooked up my hoses yet, and I've done this swap 2 years now, and been talking about getting my AC done, and it's just getting longer and longer, and I just haven't done it yet. But the frame on a Chevrolet is 36 inches wide, and I don't know how far it is up front, but a Cummins is a lot wider. If you don't do this AC flip, you're going to run into some problems with your frame not being wide enough down there at the bottom to where you're going to have to notch your frame up front. And I didn't personally want to do that, and I know a lot of people don't personally want to do it, so you're just going to have to track down the parts for that F700. It's the water neck that's down here at the bottom, this piece right here, that whenever you take your Cummins out, you know, it's the AC bracket that all goes right here. It's flipped up, not down at the bottom, like how a normal Cummins out of a truck is. Some industrial Cumminses already come this way. Some of the P7100s that are tan, that were out of a F700 truck, they already come this way. But my truck was actually out of a 90, or my engine's actually out of a 93. So I had to find the part and convert it. I know that there are a couple conversion companies that are selling them. I will put the part numbers from Cummins at the comments, so you can actually go through them and try to find them yourself. The actual bracket swap, I think it was $180 from Cummins itself. Now with your intercooler, see, the one reason why I went with the first gen intercoolers, they're a little bit thicker than most, and you could get some aftermarket ones that hold up to 100 and something psi, and they're going to end up being this thick anyway. Now, as for stock CFM flow, I don't know off the top of my head, but as you can see, I mean, that's a HX35 turbo. Comes down here at the bottom, you know, it comes across, goes right in, comes across right here, comes out right there, goes into the top of the motor. You know, if I actually had factory bent pieces with one piece, it would almost look like factory, almost, from what a first gen Dodge would look like. Now, for the radiator, for the fan itself, hood clearance is, I don't know where my fan had come off of, but as you can see, it sticks up a little bit higher. Now, for the reason that this is that the fan pulley itself is actually a 93 fan pulley. The fan pulley off of a non-intercooled engine brings the fan down almost another ½ an inch. Now, I had to take all the plastic and stuff off the bottom of my hood for it to act. It doesn't, so far it hasn't hit my hood, but I would like for it to be a little bit lower, and I don't think that it's going to, because I've had this thing in the mud and just about everything else, and it still hasn't hit it. But just for my own personal thing, I'm gonna see if I can find one and bring it down. A lot of people were talking about having to take the heater box out and the squirrel box and all this other stuff. I don't understand why people are taking that out, because there's no reason to. As you can see, your exhaust almost goes perfectly down there, and if you find a factory piece that has a heat shield on it, you don't have to worry about none of that. I mean, in real all honesty, like, this swap it's almost like it's meant to be in here. How easy some of this stuff comes together. I didn't have to use a body lift. I didn't have to use like half the people that I've seen on forums talk about using. But how I mounted my intercooler is I welded that bracket back there to the actual subframe or the core support itself, bent it down, bolted it up, did the same thing on this side, except I swapped it. And then down in the bottom, you can see down in there, I made 2 little foothold brackets for it. Now, this grill is a pain in the ass to get out of here with that intercooler there. And also, I had to shave this front piece right here for it to actually fit correctly. Now, but you can't tell that I've shaved it from right here. So, and if you're going to use a 2nd gen intercooler, a lot of people use them. Duramax intercoolers, I've seen a lot of people use them, but as for my swap, I'm really content with a 1st gen intercooler. Once I get these knurls shaved off, I'm going to get me another grill, and then it'll actually fit correctly and it won't look the way that it does. Now, I'm gonna make another video here after a while. I'm doing an MV4500 swap. This has probably been the easiest transmission swap that I should have done this from the beginning. There are Chevrolet brackets, transmission cross members for Chevrolet, that actually hold an MV4500. Rather than you having to make the brackets and everything else, I'll get another video loaded up of the bracket itself, and we'll talk a little bit more about the MV4500 swaps. But as far as the intercooler and the radiator goes, that's pretty much my take on it. first gen stuff in a square body Chevrolet works really well. I haven't had any hiccups out of mine, and I don't think that I actually will so far. So if there's anybody else that has any questions about this, you can email me at outlawdieseltruckclub@gmail.com, and subscribe to my channel, and I'll have some more videos out shortly. And if you have any other questions, hit me up on here, and I'll reply to them as fast as I can. And I've helped other people with these swaps so far, and I've done 2 more since this truck, just for my buddies, but this is still mine, and I'm never getting rid of it. So alright guys, well thank you. I thank you for all the subscribes and to my channels and watching, and I really appreciate it. Thanks.